morning. Welcome to another Zen Quotes Explained. I really wanted to do both of these pretty quickly back to back, and we're gonna do them. We're doing them right now. So the thing about these Zen quotes and sayings explained is that these are only suggestions. These are only ideas that I bounce around when I read these Zen quotes and sayings. I've studied Zen and the Tao, and the Tao Te Ching and the Way. I know that they're not the same, but I've studied a lot of these Eastern cultures and a lot of their approaches to ideas and concepts, and so I really like to dive into these. The one we're going to do today is the saying, "What we think, we become." And this is a Buddha quote. What we think, we become. I think this is a very easy to break down saying, and it's easy to see at first glance what it's suggesting, that what we think, we become. And that's pretty simple to apply to a lot of things. Like if we think in love, we become more loving. If we think in hate, we become angry. And these simple layers of how we process, our perspective is what rules us. Our ability to perceive the world around us is what rules our perception of that world. And so it's kind of intrinsically tied to everything is the paradox of duality, the paradox of the way you look at things can change the way the world looks once you change the way you're looking at it. So what we think we become is kind of a way of saying what is the lens or the filter, or what's the perception you have, and what's the perception you have of your thoughts, what's the perception of your internal dialogue right now, and how is that manifesting into who you are, into who you become. When we have a conflict with Tim at work and we choose to get into an argument and we let it ruin our day, what we think about this interaction with Tim, it has more to do with us than it has to do with Tim. And so what we think about this interaction is what becomes out of the interaction. So if Tim insults us and we feel hurt, then we think we are in pain, and we become in pain. We become pain. We share that pain with the rest of the office. Oh boy, thanks Tim. But in reality, it's not Tim's fault, it's your fault. It's your fault for not processing the separation of Tim's pain. When he pushes his pain out into the world, that's his pain still. He's just trying to share it with everybody. Thanks Tim for sharing. But at the same time, it's his and his alone. So we don't have to think about his pain affecting us. We can think about how it affects him, and that actually keeps the pain where it was, instead of it continually manifesting into more and more pain. Let's not get confused. This isn't my pain, it's your pain, Tim. Let's talk about your pain. So it's really about, taking full responsibility. Like don't confuse where the thinking's coming from. Like stay true to your thoughts, what you think you become. So stay focused on your thinking, what your perception is, what your lens is of the multiverse around you. Am I too far away? Can you guys hear me down there? Okay. And what we think we become is actually very realistically rooted in science. This is a very easy to apply scientific principle in a sense, because what we think we become is another way of saying the vibration that we resonate in is the vibration we are going to resonate in. To resonate at any specific frequency, and the universe matches that frequency to you. That's just how the multiverse or universe works. It's not a puzzle. This is a law. It's the resonance frequencies. And so you, as a thought, your thoughts are frequencies. Your thoughts are energetic vibrations stemming out into the world. And so what you think, you become. What you resonate as is who you are. What your vibrations resonate as is who you become. And so what you think as a thought is really more of what resonates in your being. So your thoughts, your consciousness, your lens of perception, these are all manifestations of the mind of your reality, the story you tell yourself about your day. And this is why these simple quotes can become so powerful. what we think we become is suggesting really that we monitor our thoughts, that we are refining and mindfully engaging only the thoughts that we want to become, to move towards. It's like if we're holding a rifle and our focus, we're going to shoot wherever we focus. We don't want to focus on the target we don't want to hit. We want to focus on the target we do want to hit. Even if there's a bunch of targets out there that we know about that we don't want to shoot, we don't focus on them. We just focus on the one target we're trying to hit. And that's it. That's super chill. There's not a lot else you could like really get from that, because if you're mindfully breaking down and sorting through your perceptions and your lenses and your thoughts, then you're mindfully steering who you become. And that's mindful development, mindful consciousness. This is what you want. This is who you want to be. You want to be someone who's mindfully acting, not reacting. You don't want to react to Tim's insults. You want to act mindfully to help Tim process his pain and not take the pain for yourself as well. I don't want your pain, bro. You can keep it all yourself. I don't want it. So, again, the Zen quote, what we think, we become. It's super simple. You think about it, you become it. Stop thinking about things you don't want to become. It's that simple, I swear. It's that simple. So, what we think, we become. Super simple. Your lens, your perception of your reality is telling a story. It's a very, very real story to you. It's intrinsically tied to your existence. And this story could be saying all kinds of things like, this wasn't fair for you, and life's hard, and we're falling into this victim dialogue. We don't want to be the victim. We want to be the hero. It's kind of like the hero's journey, which we'll get into another time, another whole separate video about the hero's journey. But this is really important, I think. This is interesting because if you want to embody the hero in your life, then you need to be mindful about what you're thinking. You need to be mindful about the thoughts that you're processing. And that's an important suggestion that Buddha is saying to you. And that's one of the beauties of these Zen quotes explained, is there's so much here in this one phrase, what we think we become. And everything is about what we think. Everything is about how we perceive these things that are happening around us. The trauma of our life is only because of the way we perceive these events. If we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. That's a Wayne Dyer quote saying the same thing, basically. He's saying the same thing in a different way, though. He's saying when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. And it's a very real way of suggesting what we think we become. It's a very shortened version, because the bridge from thought to becoming is much longer than the bridge from changing the way you look at things changes the way you see them. That's a very simple change. You understand it's the way that you changed your perception that allows you to perceive these things differently. But there's a few more blocks, or a few more steps to take from changing the perception and thought to then becoming that change, to becoming the thoughts you want to be. So what you think you become is, in some ways, it's saying to mindfully, to use your mindful actions to become what you want. But we are going to become what we think no matter what. So if we aren't mindfully refining our thoughts, if we aren't mindfully thinking about how to become who we want, then we will become who we don't want. We'll become whatever we are thinking. And potentially that's a paradox where potentially that's a hazard of, you could be thinking great things and you could be headed towards great things, and that's great. But if you're not mindful of that, if you're not thinking in that positive refinement way, then your thoughts could be harmful. Your thoughts could be degenerative, which means that what you think you become is always happening. It's just, what are you thinking? That's what I was getting towards. What you think you become is always happening. You're always becoming what you're thinking. You just need to be aware of what you're thinking. Thanks again, guys, for joining me for a Zen Quotes Explained. Love doing these. What we think we become. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, post it on Facebook to your friends and say, like, this is my favorite Zen quote. And also don't forget to suggest some videos if you have a Zen quote you really like and you want me to talk about it, or if you have a like handstand variation you want me to teach you how to do. Let me know. You tell me, I'll make a video just for you. Alright, see you guys next time. Peace. Namaste.